Scott. yesterday. So.
Can't imagine.
Matt coming?
Matt's sick.
He's sick?
This morning.
Well, I guess he's not coming.
It's time.
Got some treats.
We have a form, but I don't have a vice chair.
You are all right.
What's that?
I said you are all right.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Absolutely.
How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Can't complain. It's a good day for an MPO meeting.
Right? It's always a good day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A short MPO.
Yeah, well, knock on wood, right?
Right?
Yes.
Mike, Richard, how you doing?
Last year.
Good.
Scott is. Huh? I think Scott is.
Does anyone sit to your left? I can't remember. Yeah.
Scott.
Usually there would be, but we have people are not coming, so.
Okay.
Remember him?
Yes.
I hadn't seen you yet.
Let's go, guys. 10 o'clock.
Jack, you doing all right? What's up? Yeah, we need to get them going, don't we?
Get started. She's out there, he's there. Who's the vice? The chairman's not here. Scott Black's vice chair. I don't see him there. We do this.
I did pick
I'm starting meeting. Let's go.
I didn't pick chair.
Who's taking the chair?
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask for a low
Chair. Go move into this one.
in the absence of our chairman.
We're deciding. Lance can take it.
Lance, you're right.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Let's get this thing going.
So, this is the entire agenda. Well, that's what copies, so you don't need to pick up. It's whatever's in here. Too. Yeah, it's in here. So the only thing that changed is that. Okay, so Cynthia is sick.
Okay.
So it's gonna be Scott Ferry.
Okay.
Because they have to do a new contract.
Right here. Yeah, sure, it's the same name.
Oh, you go.
Well, it's the same name.
I don't understand why they just didn't redo. I gotta ask them that question. Good morning.
How are you?
Is you?
Yeah, they're working out their meeting with them.
I'm not gonna be able to do the work that I wanted to do.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting for the MPO Board, May 8, 2020 to 2025 to order. The first thing I think we need to do is appoint a chairman today.
Move to Councilman Smith chair this meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
I
All
say
in,
no.
okay, wait a minute. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Please be aware that this meeting is being broadcast. After its conclusion, a video will be available. This time, could we please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance?
Gracious God, we invite you into our discussions today. Unite our hearts and guide our conversations with wisdom and patience. Help us to seek solutions that honor you and benefit everyone involved. In your name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's that one that I brought forward. Is there new?
Thank you. Can I please have the roll call?
Oh, yes.
Mayor Scott Black. Mayor John Eric Hoover.
Here.
Commissioner Ronald E. Oakley.
Here.
Commissioner Seth Waitman.
Here.
Commissioner
Catherine P. Starkey. Here.
Commissioner Lisa Yater,
She's gonna be online.
Commissioner Jeff Mariano,
Here.
Chairman Matt Murphy, Acting Chairman Councilman Lance Smith.
Here. Thank you. At this time, we have a call for public comment. Anyone here wish to comment? Anyone online? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to the next item. Let's see. Excuse me a second. It appears we have some minutes to approve from the prior. No? No minutes? Okay. Thank you. Then we will go to the advisory committee reports. This is Lori? This Lori?
No, sir. I'm
No.
Angel Avila with the Pasco
Well,
MPO.
Okay, I'm all messed up, sorry.
No worries. The Citizens Advisory
Oh.
Committee. You ready? You want to wait? You good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm unsure, to be honest. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
The Citizens Advisory Committee convened on April 30th with a quorum present. The CAC approved the appointment of Jerry Ferguson as a new regular member and received presentations from the Pasco MPO regarding the draft 2026 to 2023 Transportation Improvement Program and the draft 2025 list of project priorities, and subsequently approved both documents as presented. The CAC was provided with the 2025 Joint MPO Certification Review Report from FDOT, which assigned the Pasco MPO as risk level of low. The committee voted to accept the certification review. Additionally, the committee reviewed procedures for reporting traffic operation and code violation concerns via the TED platform on the county website, and GoPasco provided an update on new bus routes and the transit development plan, and the committee discussed the availability of traffic volume data in Pasco County.
All right, thank you. Any questions? If not, we'll move to TAC. Scott?
Good morning, committee. I'm sorry, good morning, board. I have committees on my mind. The TAC Chairman Spidell sends her regrets that she was unable to attend today. She's a bit under the weather, so I will present her report. The MPO Technical Advisory Committee met on April the 30th, 2025, and a quorum of the committee was present. The committee was presented with the same agenda items as this board will take up today and took action to approve them all. One noteworthy item that generated discussion at the meeting was a specific list of projects on the MPO's draft 2025 list of project priorities that were recommended for removal. The committee was concerned about their removal and voted to recommend approval of the draft list with the condition that the recommended projects, that the projects recommended for removal be added back to the list should discretionary funding become available in the future. And that issue will be discussed in a few minutes by Tania when she makes her presentation on the draft list of project priorities. Other than that, the only other item of note from the meeting was that Todd Vandenberg with the City of Zephyr Hills asked if a lower speed limit could be posted on Chansey Road and State Route 35. I'm sorry, State Route 39. That concludes my report. Are there any questions?
What's the basis for lowering the speed?
I don't recall what his reason was. I can check with him and I can follow up with that and get back to you on it.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Scott? And just for the record, the vice chair, Scott Black, has shown up, so you got the bump. So you want to take it over or not? Let me continue.
You're good.
You're stuck.
Thank you.
I guess not. Thank you, Scott. Yep, yep. All right.
Did that
we
last,
have the
did we have
BPAC
to
with,
approve that last item?
no, it's just a committee report. BPAC with Ms. Angel again.
Yes. So the BPAC, Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, convened on April 30th. However, no votes were conducted due to a lack of quorum. The MPO provided an update on the draft 2025 LOP, including 5 proposed trail segments, projected projects for the Orange Belt Trail that are seeking funding. There was a request and discussion from the BPAC to collaborate with FDOT and Pasco County Traffic Operations on the development of new bicycle and pedestrian safety messages to be displayed on 6 digital message boards in Pasco County. And a request was made to reconsider meeting locations on the east side of Pasco to increase attendance. BPAC continues to face challenges achieving quorum due to lack of attendance. Do you have any questions?
I have a new attendee to the BPAC. Did I approve her at the county commission or?
You approved her here.
Here, and she attended, right?
She did not attend.
Yes, so
Oh, she did attend.
I did speak to her. She was unable to attend the last one, but she is expecting to come to the next meeting.
Okay, I thought she was coming to it. Something must have happened.
She had another commitment.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
And I hope to have a new recommendation for the next meeting for BPAC as well.
Lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we go to the action items. The first one is the Unified Planning Work Program, and this is Ms. Lori.
Hello, Lori Shadiger. The Pasco MPO request approval to reallocate salary savings to planning for the completion of the County ADA and Transportation Resiliency Plan, and to incorporate closeout funds from fiscal year 23-24 grant to fiscal year 26 of the current grant.
Mr. Chair, move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on this item. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, the list of priority projects.
Good morning. Tina Gorman, Pasco MPO Executive Director. This morning we'll be reviewing the list of priority projects. This is a program that we do every year to identify the projects that are in need of funding throughout the next fiscal year. So I'm going to go through the project priorities. I'm just going to highlight a few currently in the program list. I have it. There we go. Oops. You and I both. There we go. I'll highlight a few program priorities that are currently on the list. So right now we have US 98 widening from 2 to 4 lanes from the Polk County line to US 301. The current status in 2025 is construction's underway. We also have US 98 from US 301 south to US 301 north, widening from 2 to 4 lanes. Currently, we are in design, build funded, and construction is underway. That's the status. We have US 19. We have the pedestrian signals, mid-block crossing and crosswalks at San Marco Drive and Johnson Road. That's one mid-block crossing. Then we also have between Elizabeth Avenue and Edna Avenue, we have another pedestrian signal mid-block crossing. We also have this State Road 54 pedestrian overpass from Suncoast Parkway Trail to State Road 54. It is under design and construction is funded in fiscal year 26. We also have the State Road 52 pedestrian overpass from Suncoast Parkway Trail to 52, and it is under design, construction funded in fiscal year 25.
So is the shovel happening in the ground any second? Because
any day now, any minute now, any second now.
Yeah. I mean, because soon we're going to be in 26. So
correct. As of
when is construction? Who's building it?
FDOT.
Okay. Are they starting soon? I haven't seen anything.
I can connect with FDOT after this to get you an actual date.
They're not here today, no?
Susan.
Oh, you're here. Okay.
Do you want to speak on that?
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt. We can get to it later. I'm seeing that it's supposed to be in 25 and we're nearing the end, you know.
Good morning, Suzanne Ziegler, Government Liaison, District 7, FDOT. I did check on this yesterday with the project manager, Omar, and State Road 54 at Suncoast Trail. That one will be letting in December. It's currently in phase 3 of design, and it's currently on task to let the construction, to advertise the construction. And then great news on State Road 52 at Suncoast, we are letting the project advertising in 1 week. So we're on
For
schedule.
construction?
Yes, ma'am.
So they're starting construction?
They're gonna put the advertisement out there, so probably won't see dirt turn for a couple, maybe July, when we'll start seeing dirt turn, but we have to hire a contractor.
Okay.
So.
That's great news.
Yep, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. We have, hold on one second. My iPad just locked.
So you're at 7? Is that 7? Did she switch?
Okay, sorry about that. My iPod locked. We have the Orange Bells Trail, Trinity Boulevard segment, east of Little Road to State Road 54. We have a multi-use path, and it is under design, constructed funded in fiscal year 26. And then we have our SR 52, State Road 52, east of US 41 to Aaron Cutoff. And then we have Aaron Cutoff to west of Bellamy Brothers. We have our add lanes from 2 to 4 lanes, and we are under design and construction funded in fiscal year 27.
Is now appropriate time to ask a question on that, or when's the?
Go ahead. You can do it now. It's the program projects.
So I want to make sure that the sidewalks are getting added on the south side.
That is, we are currently working on that with DOT, and as our meeting, as we said yesterday or 2 days ago, we were talking about the different segments of these sidewalks that are needed. But DOT can speak more if they're going to add the sidewalk on the
Because
side.
if it's under design, then they have plenty of time to design the sidewalks into the road, right? And we do have an underpass in that segment, and it's got to connect to something on the south
Suzanne
side.
Ziegler, FDOT Government Liaison. Are we talking about US 41 to Aaron Cutoff, or are we, okay. I have on here that we're doing a 12-foot multi-use trail along the north side of it, but I can go back and confirm with Justin. I know that we're doing the underpass there, right, is that where I'm trying to think. The underpass always gets me. I always want to say it's by Secretariat, but maybe it's not. It's by the Connor Preserve, correct?
I think it's around there too, but we have to have a sidewalk on the south side.
The south side, okay. I will talk with Justin. I did see an email between you and Tina. I guess maybe Tina Russo from FDOT had talked to you about State Road 52 sidewalks. I haven't had a chance to look at that. She sent us an update.
Just today?
Yesterday morning.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it, but I did have a conversation with her.
Okay, maybe she was following up with us on that. So I will talk to Justin and confirm what we are doing, and we'll get back to Nia, and then she can give you the information.
At the corner of 41 and Aaron Cutoff is that mitigation bank, right? Didn't you were the one that talked about
It's
that?
on the south side.
On the south, yeah, this is the south side. South side of 52, they did not put sidewalks in. So they said we were supposed to put them in, or get the developers to put them in. But if there's no developer for a mitigation bank, then they need to put it in. And then we have the Connor Preserve, so there's no developer. So who's putting that sidewalk? So we have to, after that, we have, anywhere there's development, we're working with them to put the sidewalk in, but if there's no developer, there's no, we gotta work those things out.
All right, as we move into our current project listing.
Before you go on,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I want to just talk about two things.
Go back then?
Go back one more slide. On the Bayou Trail connection, so under River Gulf, that's a project that I'm glad it's under design now. How far along is that, do we know?
It's currently the Bayou Trail, that's what I was going to go into my next, that's on the current project listings, I was going to give that update. But we are currently at PD&E, we're currently under a right-of-way study by FDOT.
Okay, so what's the
We're looking at about, I think the last time we talked, Brian, it was about a year a year and a half out on the right-of-way study. But I will let Brian give you that update.
Good morning, everybody. Brian Hunter with the Florida Department of Transportation. On that project, we're currently in the scoping process for 15% line and grade so we can identify the right-of-way needs on the west side of the road. And so we should have that maybe 9 months to a year, have a better understanding of the exact right-of-way needs there. And so then we'll be able to move into full design after that.
And I want to say that for down the road, I've got another funding source in mind. You know, say the CDBG DR funds that are coming up, that if you can get it designed and we can then put it in, I might be able to fund it that way. That could free up some other projects we want to kind of move up the list.
Absolutely. Well, once we get to that point where we can identify the right of way, we can move as fast as we need to.
Okay. I want to make sure you make it as wide as you can, especially under the bridge.
Yeah.
So that if it's not a DOT project after that point, then we can have flexibility to do what we want with it after.
Okay.
All right.
Tania just asked me to give a brief update on 41 and 54.
I was just going to ask you.
All right.
I was thinking it's number one on the list.
So,
I can't read my list.
As you all know, we've been looking at that project probably for about the last 10 years, and the historical focus has always been on putting 54 over 41 in that area. But now with Angeline and Moffett and all the development on the north side, we've taken a quick second look at maybe running 41 over 54, and it really seems to move traffic a little better. It reduces our right-of-way need. We don't have as much access issues on the west side of the road because you already have the railroad, which kind of cuts off access to those parcels. And so we're looking at that to wrap up our PD&E, and that will probably put us back maybe 6 months, but with the reduction in right-of-way costs, we don't know what that is yet, but we do anticipate a pretty severe reduction in right-of-way costs. It'll allow us to move much faster, even though we have a little delay right now.
So we brought this up at our Tri-County meeting Friday. We meet regularly with the Hillsborough and Pinellas County Commissioners. So we had a big regional meeting, and I asked this to be added to, roundabout discussion, and thank you so much for coming. Oh, no, that was Secretary.
Yeah.
Secretary Justin. And we got great support from the other two counties to push this, to make this a big priority, and so they're willing to do whatever it takes for us to help push this along quicker. So that was great.
Yeah.
I hope he let you know that.
Yes.
One more thing before you go, too, if I could. So we were at the Moffett groundbreaking of the new building, the new proton cancer destroyer that's coming in. And while we're there, I came down 52, forgot that we had to get on Ridge Road, so I went down 52, and then the road doesn't go anywhere. So I had to swing back out and around, and then Sun Lake, you had to come up to there. The gap that's at Sun Lake going north-south, I was with Rich Drake and getting the Brownfield update, and I'm looking at his map. He's got Ridge Road going all the way to 41, and then he's got Sun Lake coming down, it stops, and Sun Lake going up, and it stops.
Yeah.
That gap, and we've talked about it many times, how can we get that project moving along? As you mentioned, Moffett, how important it is. We need to make that connection, even if it's just 2 lanes to get started. We do 4 later. But how can we move that project up?
That would probably be more of a county question.
That's us. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
But I mean, it's going to connect 2 arterials, 52 and 54. I think we should be, somehow it should be in this plan too, no?
Yeah, if that's a connection that the county wants to make, we'll do whatever we can to help you all make that. I mean, anything we can do to improve the grid network is something that will benefit the department as well as the county. So we're willing to do whatever we need to do to help you all get there.
On the 5441, when I was looking at the diagrams, I think I might have taken it out. It might be on my desk. When I looked at the one that you had 54 on one side and 41 going over on the other. It said 41 divergent diamond. Is that what you're looking at?
On the underneath 54, we'd be looking at a diverging diamond underneath there.
Okay, so
at grade on 54.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be the kind of the reverse of what we have at 56 and the interstate.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and just one question. What about a time frame on the 4154? I mean, realistically, a time frame.
So we have right-of-way funded in 29, I believe. Please don't quote me on that one. I'm pulling it out of the.
We're not gonna hold that to you either. We're gonna go for 28.
Right. So we have right-of-way funded in 29. We're hopeful that with the reduced right-of-way costs, we'd be able to fully fund it at that time. We may need to pull in some other funding sources, but to get it all funded in the 29 to 30, and then we'd be looking at construction 2 to 3 years after right-of-way starts. That's probably not going to be the easiest right-of-way acquisition project because there's a lot of individual parcel owners. So
you think realistically you'd start construction
7 years from now.
7 years?
It took me 4 light cycles to go through there the other day. It was backed up for miles.
I won't be here.
Yeah. I guess anything you can do to improve the timeline on that, obviously we need it. Because it kind of, you wonder about it being, obsolete by the time it's constructed almost, or non-functioning. But I don't know. I mean, it's a complex project. I understand that with a lot of right-of-way acquisition. It's going to have to go to eminent domain on a lot of the parcels, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, and I mean the benefit of a 50 or a 41 over 54 is it also allows us to deal with that merge at like the Dale Mabry 41 intersection that we can have people make that choice lane kind of like you do on 75 as you're heading north or 275 you're heading north. If you're getting off at 56, you make that choice before you get to the 275, 75 apex. So we'd be able to do that on that little merge point as well. But yeah, we'll do whatever we can to move that. That's a high priority for the department. So
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
I have a question. So when you say you're funded in 28, is that what you said?
29.
29. So do you wait till you have the funding to start eminent domain, which takes a long time, or can you not just start that earlier and then so you're through the court system or whatever by 29?
So if we have willing sellers, we can go ahead and do advance acquisition. Like if somebody puts a parcel up for sale, we know we're going to need to acquire it. We can go ahead and do that ahead of time. But for the eminent domain, we have to wait until it's funded because we have to put those funds in an escrow account. And so we do have some advance acquisition pots that we can reach into to do those and then repay it. But we can't do that with eminent domain projects or parcels.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner.
What if we put?
So let me throw this idea out to you. We did this for a sidewalk project. Remember we had Seven Springs, we had an accident down there, some kids get past.
Yeah.
We had the same thing up at Hicks Road on the sidewalk project. Seven Springs was real easy. We'd have to worry about the right-of-way. It was a real easy project. That thing was done in like 2 years. The other one took us about 4 or 5 because of all the right-of-way. One of the things we did, we had a meeting with all the people that were affected up and down. So all these individual homeowners, rather than go through the eminent domain process, would have cost us a lot more money, would take a lot more time. We met them all in a big room. A lot of the lawyers showed up too. But we had them in the room, and that sped up the process and cut down the cost dramatically. We saved like over $1 million.
I did that on sidewalk on Mile Stretch. Yeah.
I think that all those businesses would probably join in to help to try to at least make it easier to get it done. And if we could maybe set a meeting up for that, once you a little further with the design, I think you could speed that process up quite a bit and save a bunch of money.
Well, it's all going to be on the east side because the left side is the train track.
Yeah, there would be a
pretty
little
much
bit on the
know
left
who it
side,
is.
but not anywhere near as much as we were going to originally need. I think on the south side, we do need some to kind of widen out that part for the
Walgreens or
virgin time.
CVS or whatever.
So I recommend we have a nice big meeting and get everybody there. And I think even if the public gets wind that these people are going to be helping them out, that's going to even help their business more. With the support, they'll probably get down the road. But
Yeah.
I think it's worth a shot.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I'm going to just put one more thing in. As you mentioned, the time it's going to take to build this road, any reliever we can do. And if you get all those people, let's say they're living on the edge of 41, and they're going to come down to that intersection right now, cutting over, and we're seeing all the money that Turnpike Authority is spending around these interchanges that they've got to put more lanes in. That Sun Lake drives me even more important to say, if everybody's up in that top quadrant there, and if they're going to head to the west, if they're going to come down 41, they're coming that way, they get stuck because there's no other way to get there, that may drive them down Sun Lake, cutting over to the right and saving a lot of trips in that whole area. So I think it's worthy of a look too to see if there's merit to that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, you weren't here when we discussed the 52 design project that's underway and the sidewalks on the south side.
Okay.
From from 40, is it 41 or Aaron Cutoff? Where's it go?
41 to Aaron Cutoff.
Yeah, so,
You
you
want
know,
to
we need to make sure there's a sidewalk on the south side while you're in design.
Okay, yeah, I'll go back and see what we're doing on that one. I'm not too familiar with that project, so.
Because you are doing an underpass, we think at Secretariat, but it has to connect to something. Otherwise, we'll all look dumb if it's just underpass to grass.
Yeah, I'll go back, I'll take a look and we'll get back with your office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, which number are you on?
We are currently on current project highlights.
Yeah, you on number 13 on your highlights, or 'cause then you get down to Orange Belt?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to Orange Belt. That'll be how I end off I won't go through every project for the sake of time, but I just wanted to highlight, we are asking for SU funds for systems and operation planning funds in fiscal year 30, so it is on the list currently for the MPO as we expand our staff and get ready for our next long-range transportation plan. I know we just did one, but it takes a lot of money and time and effort, so we're already gearing up for that. We have the annual bus replacements that we work with Go Pasco on reoccurring requests. It's 1.5 million in capital costs. We have the ADA bus stop improvements countywide, and these are enhancements to bus stops, planning, preliminary engineering, and constructed, and that's to be funded in 2030. We also have Rangeland on our list of priority projects from East Gun Highway to Bexley Village. Design is funded in fiscal year 26 in the CIP, and right-of-way is also funded in 27. And we recently just had all the workshops and public hearings, and we are also reviewing, and the county is working with FTE to see what our next steps due to the public feedback. So you will be hearing more from the county soon on the Rangeland project. Sun Lake Boulevard, Commissioner Mariana, as you were discussing, north of Bud Bexley Parkway to south of Angeline property line is a new roadway. Design is funded in fiscal year 26, which we are almost there, correct? Right? It's not far around the corner. Right of way is funded in 27. Constructed is funded in 28 through 29. So Sun Lake is closely approaching. It's within the next 3 years.
Why do we need to purchase right-of-way when it's not a developer's responsibility to give that to us?
I think that's only partial, correct, Nick? I'll let Nick stand.
I mean, if they don't want to develop, because they have to have some lake in it.
We have faith, good afternoon, good morning, Nick Uren, County Engineer. We have funding for design, right-of-way, and construction in case we are obligated to compensate the developer for the conveyance of the right-of-way and the drainage ponds. The development in question is the Bexley North MPUD, and they have a condition of approval that obligates them to give us the land associated with the corridor and the drainage facilities once the county has programmed construction in its 5-year capital program. So we now have that funding in our capital program, so we have met the trigger event required for asking them to convey the property. But until we go through the formal design planning process and get to that 30% design stage, we don't have the exact boundaries of land that we will be asking them to convey to us. So long story short, we expect to give them a request to convey the property to the county once those 30% plans are complete. We will point to the condition of approval saying we expect you to convey it consistent with the language in the condition of approval. And if for some reason we're obligated to compensate the property owner because of changes in state law that have occurred between when the condition was established and the point at which we're asking for the conveyance, we have a plan to accommodate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and the final overview is the Orange Belt Trail segments. As you can see, the PD&E study is underway for the segments provided in the list of priority projects. And there was a Sun Trail application submitted by TED in December 2024 for construction to commence in 2030 or 31. So we are not far away. But
did we win? We won the Sun Trail? We won some.
The application was submitted in December, so I think they are waiting to hear if they got approval. Okay. So we will know more.
So we're funding.
Sure.
So the Trinity Boulevard Orange Belt Trail is Sun Trail funding, correct?
Correct.
And so then this would be our next ask in that program, which they beefed up the money.
Correct. Correct. This is our next ask, and we were waiting for these segments to put in the list of priority projects to gain more funding.
Okay. Excellent.
Things are moving along. All right. Now to the removal. There we go. So part of the projects in the removal chart are for projects with current funding or funding from another source. The MPO is aiming to provide a clear, concise list of priority projects. We are requiring that projects on this list need funding, has a responsible agency, and a clear path to project development. This list has been compiled by MPO staff and is a recommendation, not a directive. The MP board can choose to approve or deny. It is just our duty as staff to provide the most comprehensive information possible. So currently on the dais is a updated list of the projects recommended for removal. The projects in red with strike through will remain on the list of priority projects due to high probability of funding via grants or state funding as it become available. The current projects that are going to remain on the list is Bud Bexley. It's eligible for TRIP, SIGP, Sun Trail, and it is a paraglow reliever to the SIS facility on 54. And it includes a segment of Orange Belt Trail, so we don't want to eliminate that project because we still want to receive other discretionary funding. Eland Boulevard will remain on the list as it is a third generation penny project. The county is deciding whether to leave the project on as a standalone or include it in the Eland widening to 4 lanes. So we're going to leave that on because TA funds may be pursued. The Starkey Trail overpass will remain on because we can also use additional Sun Trail funding if needed. That is also a penny project. And then the Old Dixie multi-use path, this project will have a feasibility study conducted from Sea Ranch to Arapica Road. So we would like to leave that one on as we will get assistance with the feasibility study from FDOT.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So, and as this was on, we had a meeting with Tania and myself, and we called Secretary Hall. So one of the things with this, and I was up in probably DC probably 4 or 5 years ago looking to what we could do as far as like move that around. If everyone remembers the forest fires we had up at Sea Pines area, they started in the preserve that was to the side, to the west of Old Dixie Highway, spread over to the residents, et cetera. It was getting close, it's scary. So working with Florida Wildlife, maybe even U.S. Wildlife, we can look at trying to put a trail in the inside part of that land that's all can't be developed, to put a trail in, so fire trail can be in there, can be used for people later on.
Yeah.
If I then connect it, go through Harbor Town, which we can, obviously we're gonna get all the right-of-way we need from them. We might even get them to go build that part when we get up to that point as they move forward. But if I get to past Arapica, and I want to say past Arapica right now, because if you stop at Arapica and it doesn't connect to the Chaskowitz Preserve, it's going to keep another funding source available. So we need to make sure it goes even past Arapica Road to up there to the Chaskowitz. I don't know how you put that in the chart, but somehow we got to get the verbiage in there. If it connects to the Chaskowitz, just to the edge of it, I can now get some more federal funding too.
You know, there, if you recall, we had a presentation by Charles Hines, who was a Sarasota County Commissioner, who's now with TPL, Trust for Public Land, on they have a trail that's, you know, Manatee, Sarasota, or Sarasota, Manatee, Pinellas County, I don't know why they've left us off, that is, it's in the Sun Trail system, and it's like the coastal trail. And I said, why are you leaving us off? We already have our coastal Anklo Trail, and we go up US 1. You know, I told them about the Dixie Highway Trail. We need to look at partnering with them on that trail. Can you imagine if we had 3 Sun Trail systems going through our county? We'd be Trail County, USA. But we need to talk to them about being added onto that one. They're starting down there, but you know, as we add our pieces.
As we add our pieces, then you can
it's great.
go forth.
I love this idea.
So maybe keep Arapica on there, but look at that verbiage to say we need to go all the way up.
Extend beyond. We'll find limits.
And maybe it's even going right up to the Hernando line, where they might have a connection up there.
Okay.
So however
I
that
will-
works, but I want to make sure that feasibility study, we go all the way up.
I will make a note of it when I speak to FDOT in our monthly meeting to go past Air-P.
Ryan Hunter with FDOT again. So Secretary Hall briefed me on this one, and so we took a little bit of a look, and because it would have that regional connection, maybe going up to Hernando County, we'd be willing to do that feasibility study so that we can get like a kind of an alignment for you, and then get a cost estimate, and then that way it can go into the list as like a program project instead of, you know, a concept. So we'd be willing to take that on, work with your county staff to drive that, but we'll take care of that for you.
Thank you.
And then one day, I won't do it here, but we need to add, you know, taking along Strawber, because that's how the Coastal Line Code Trail gets over to 19. It's got to go Strawber. We already have the property on Trouble Creek, so we just have to figure out the Strawber.
Maybe as part of this, we do a deeper dive on that section that Commissioner Mariano was talking about, and then we have like kind of a vision for the rest of the connections.
Yeah, because that connects us
that
to
way we know
Pinellas.
where the next steps are.
They're under construction right now to connect to our Coastal Line Code Trail. It's already built.
Yeah. I think we can wrap all that up in one document and get it taken care of so we kind of have that vision of where we're trying to go with all these. So,
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
not a problem.
Start on your end. Ours can be last.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
So for the remaining projects that are left on the list, we have Hicks Road we're requesting for removal is Hicks Road from Bolton Road to New York Avenue, new road alignment. In speaking with Commissioner Mariano and David Engel, Executive Director David Engel over PEDG, we surmised that we can get CDBGR funds to complete Hicks Road project along with an industrial development that is coming over there to the Hicks Road area. David Engel will have more information on that forthcoming. He didn't want to let too much out of the bag prior to meeting with Commissioner Mariano.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you what I know I can say. So,
Okay, that's...
because we've got this 160-acre industrial park up on Hudson. We can make a connection all the way out to Little Road. We can do a connection north-south, which is all the way to 52. And part of that infrastructure to bring it all in together under that funding source. It's going to be a tremendous amount of jobs. There's also a residential developer that wants to develop on the other side that's got about, I think it's 80 acres of industrial land, where they're trying to like take it away from us, which we're going to battle with them. They haven't come forward yet, but we're going to try to work with them to get their extra 80 acres and put that into the industrial park as well, to make it all work with the housing component, which try to fit housing as well as benefit a local area. We may work with the workforce housing right around that whole thing, instead of having just a regular development coming in. So we're going to work that whole thing all the way through, but the CDBG-DR funding fits right into the objectives of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think
You can't have all that money, right?
it's
Allocating
jobs.
it right now.
It's jobs.
I don't care if you're gonna get your share, but you gotta leave some for the rest of us.
Like I said,
The rest of the
this is,
county.
look,
I've heard like 3
Northwest
CDBG
Pasco has
projects
got,
over there.
Northwest Pasco got penis freeze. I finally got a couple of great projects going on. Let's get them done, because we gotta lift the whole county up.
Yeah.
But I thank you for bringing that to me, because she met with me one-on-one just with
Just
these
warning
two items. She met with me on these 2 projects, and I said, well, the first one we can do better, and I told her why.
Correct.
And then with Secretary Hall, but this one here, talked to David Engel, and his plan to, again, to create jobs, create that big issue that's up in that whole area. This is gonna solve that big issue. So thank you.
I don't want to go too far in, so he has more permissions than I do. All right, next project that we are asking for removal is Bellamy Brothers Boulevard, safety improvements, because it is currently fully funded in the CI County Improvement Plan for construction to begin in 27 and 28. So again, we are close to where we should be with these projects. So we don't want to take up too much room in our list of priority projects when we have the funding already in here.
So I asked you the question if it had a multi-use trail on it. I know it does, from 52, well, from the Orange Belt Trail.
Correct, on the east side.
North to 52, and then through the Hines project. What's happening north of that? I drove that road coming back from the board meeting Tuesday, because I was picking up my pies from Mr. Goody.
What road did you drive?
Bellamy.
Bellamy Brothers.
That's a
Bellamy,
scary
okay.
road.
Well, we've been working, I've been working with the county staff for over 2 years on safety for Bellamy.
Yeah.
Shoulder's been a problem. They've had a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
Big trucks and all turnover, death of many people that had come and used Bellamy.
Yeah.
So we've determined that we're widening both sides of that road and taking out, making it no passing in some areas there that there are allowing passing now, taking that out because it's a very busy road.
So,
And
so
they're doing that improvement from 52 all the way to the county
Long
line
Road, yes.
to the north.
okay, but what's happening concerning a multi-use path on it?
I've heard nothing about it.
Currently, there's not a multi-use path, a project that's going in with the safety project.
So,
You're talking about a rural road now.
I know, but isn't that the Heinz project? No? Yeah,
Well,
isn't,
it'll be to the, if
I
you're
mean-
talking about the project over at
it might.
75
oh,
and 52.
I might be on the wrong side.
Yeah.
That's Old Pasco Road, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
You're a little bit ahead of it.
I am.
Okay.
I'm
It's
on the-
okay.
I have the map here. Well, there's no way I'm reading it.
And that widening of that road is supposed to happen in 27.
I'm gonna double check.
Correct.
I'm gonna double check that.
Yeah. Check, let me know. All right, the next road is the Cubulus Road from Little Road to South of Ridge Road. Again, widening from 2 to 4 lanes. And we are right-of-way funded in fiscal year 25, which we're currently in, and constructed funded in 28 and 29. Then we have Morris Bridge Road, south of Chancey Road to south of State Road 54. And we have another segment of State Road 56 to Chancey Road, widening from 2 to 4 lanes, right-of-way funded in this current fiscal year, and construction in 28 and 29. It's fully funded in the CIP. Then we have Overpass Road from Old Bridge Road to Handcart Road, construct new 4-lane roadway, and we have right-of-way funded in 2025, which we're currently in, and funded for construction in 27 and 28. So these are the projects that we are currently asking to be removed.
We need to go
Yes.
back to
Go-
Bellamy Brothers.
Going back to Bellamy Brothers.
And that is the Heinz project.
I don't know about Heinz.
It is,
Yeah.
and that is, yes, that's.
Where's that? Where's the Heinz project?
It's
at?
Heinz, what's the name of the other landowner?
There's Heinz 52, which is.
It's
by the
Bellamy,
street.
it's Hillcrest Preserve.
That's Eisenhower.
And then Heinz is on the other side.
Heinz is to the east.
Right,
That's all to the east of Bellamy.
right. So I'm pretty sure that we were, that we requested a multi-use path on the left side, or one of those sides of Bellamy, because they're gonna get over to Otis Allen.
First news I've heard of it.
I will look into this and get back with
I
you,
will
Commissioner Starkey.
find the county commission meeting when we discuss these.
You've talked about the path on the south side of 52.
It
I'm
comes
making a
up,
note.
and then
Comes
it's
by
supposed to
Aaron
come
County.
up and go through there, and then there's a path that's coming through that development parallel to 52 to get, that connects into Otis Allen with the other route. So that was part of their development agreements.
Well,
I've made a note,
think
and I
the
will get
path-
back with you, Commissioner Starkey.
I think the path you're talking about on the south side of 52 goes on up to Old Pasco Road and connects on that, but it's
Well-
on the south side of 52.
There's
But
that potential.
there's also sidewalks on both sides right now, from Bellamy back toward the interstate.
But you know that there's gonna be all kinds of homes built in there,
I understand.
and they're gonna wanna get to that trail. So how are they gonna do it?
52.
How are they gonna get down to
It-
52
it's
if there's
on-
nothing on Bellamy?
The north side of 52 has a multi-use path.
How are they gonna get to it?
You said there's trails through their community.
There's other connections in that community other than Bellamy.
I'm telling you, we were supposed to have something on Bellamy.
There's down
This is
there.
really, this is just mistakes that we keep making, yeah?
Point of clarification. So there is a development on the west side, Hillcrest West.
Yes.
Development on the east side of Bellamy, both on the north side of State Road 52.
Right.
That are obligated to and have permitted and have constructed sidewalks on Bellamy Brothers within their frontage,
A sidewalk.
a sidewalk. within their frontage. 5-foot sidewalks because that's what the Land Development Code authorized us to obligate them to construct. So they have constructed those sidewalks as part of their development approval. They got a right-of-way permit from the county for that construction, and the construction has reasonably concluded. Not been finalized out, but it's about done. One of the things that I want the MPO board to be aware of is part of the construction of Bellamy Brothers that Commissioner Oakley referenced, where we will be adding the paved shoulders and stabilizing the edges and doing the vibratory rumble strips, edge and center line rumble strips to promote staying in your lane, reducing lane departure crashes. We will also be constructing the gaps between the frontage of those two residential projects and State Road 52. The sidewalk gaps will be built as part of that widening. We're not going north of the development, but we will ensure that the community members who move into those developments will be able to use a continuous sidewalk from their project down to State Road 52 to take advantage of the corridor that's already been constructed by the state, the multi-use pathway on Bellamy, on State Road 52 east of Bellamy. And then when the state comes along and does the State Road 52 project to the west of Bellamy, that pathway will be available to those residents as well. So we will have connected multimodal facilities. They're not trails. I know. Well, I know. We're working on. And one of our, just to tie it all back together, one of our strategic plan initiatives that the county commission has directed its staff to implement is to make updates to both our comprehensive plan and our land development code to ensure that things like this don't happen going forward.
I thought that our road footprint was multi-use trail, road, sidewalk. So what happened?
So what happened is,
and I'm not talking a 12-foot trail. I'm just talking the 6 to 8, so that two people can walk side by side. You can push a baby stroller, talking to someone, so you're not single file line.
I'm on board. We are working hard to implement that.
Safety happened.
But what happened is the land.
Sidewalk.
So it's section 900. I'm going to get the wrong. 0.8, 7 or 8. 900.7, 900.8 is it limits our ability to obligate developers to just a 5-foot sidewalk along their frontage. We are making revisions to the code to say when your frontage is on a vision road, a county planned collector or arterial road, then you will construct the facility on your frontage that is envisioned in the typical section for that vision road. So basically, if we want a pathway, you build a pathway. You build a 12-foot pathway, not a 5-foot sidewalk.
Well, a 12-foot pathway, that's the Orange Belt Trail or the Coastal Line Trail. We can't expect those to be everywhere, but 6 to 8 feet to get to 6 to 8 feet.
Sure, the concept makes perfect sense. The idea is small facilities within neighborhoods that get bigger as you get to more and more activity. Yeah, a hierarchy, more and more activity levels. Just like we do with roadways. We build small roadways in residential communities that widen out to collector roads, that widen out to arterial roads. The pathway network should be no different, and we are working hard to implement that very concept on a countywide scale. We have some development regulation changes that are in process, and we expect to be able to do that going forward.
So we have now precluded ourselves from being able to go north. So now we have to use the old railroad line to connect the trails. Is that right?
No. No, we still have options. And even if we build 5-foot sidewalks, we can always go back and widen them to pathways.
You like to say that, but that's expensive to build it and rip it out and go back.
Now let me be clear. I sent an email this morning. It is not my preference that we are in the business of going and widening sidewalks to trails or pathways. That is not.
We should just
I would
do it
rather
right the first time.
build it right the first time. So that's why we're modifying the regulations so that we can ensure that our development partners fulfill the expectation that they will build it right the first time.
I'm just so disappointed. I just
Mr. Chairman?
kick in the stomach again.
So,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't be too upset about Bellamy, because Bellamy is a dangerous road, as we know. And I'll tell you, I drive that when I come here.
Yeah,
I go up
it is
Bellamy
scary,
and cut over.
no doubt.
But I think it's more important even to focus as well. As long as we get that southern connection to 52, it's great.
But the developer should have had to give that property. There is a lot of density coming in on those two sides.
I'm all for getting it, as we go forward and change the ordinance, we can go do that. But what we have to work with, I think when you have that road that cuts, I think it's Sharber that goes across, and some of those other cuts, like St. Joe Road, I'm more concerned about the left turns being able to come into those roads if they're coming north-south, and the right turns going across, we get like maybe a little bit more of a turn lane, where you can get to those intersections with these, so if somebody's taking that right, if there's everything going on, you get a chance for them to get to the side when other traffic can go past them with ease. So I just would like us to take a look at that as we're doing the road. Let's focus on that part of the safety too.
Thank you. I'm making notes. I'm documenting. Continue.
Yes, let's
Okay.
move on because we've got a
So
couple.
just for the clerk to make notation, we do have an updated slide of the projects recommended for removal for the record. And now I will ask the board to take action to please review and approve the list of priority projects with the recommended projects that need to be removed.
Move approval with the new revised list with the inclusion of the Old Dixie Highway path to say Arapika/Hernando County line.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
But I
Go ahead.
want to vote for it though, sadly. I met with the developers, most likely, who are doing the property south of Starkey Boulevard and on 54. And they had met with staff and they were not told of any pedestrian overpass at Starkey and 54. So somewhere there's a breakdown with our staffing. So I asked them to go back because DOT did that study already. And it's kind of, we determined what the design of that overpass, pedestrian overpass was gonna look like. And we have the pad being donated by the landowner on the south side, but none of that was relayed to the developer and they had done a layout. So, please.
I will connect with current planning and have that conversation. I made a note for myself.
Thanks.
All right. Item 5, Scott, you presenting?
In your agenda packet is a copy of the MPO's draft fiscal year 2026 through 2030 Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP, which I am presenting to you for your approval. The MPO's TIP reflects its short-term transportation improvement funding priorities and contains a descriptive list of transportation improvement projects funded for development by the Florida Department of Transportation for the next 5 fiscal years using state and federal funding. Additionally, adoption and maintenance of the TIP is mandatory for continued receipt of federal funding for transportation improvement projects in Pasco County. Can you pull up the project list, please? Yes, please. On the screen, and also you have a list in front of you, is a list of the new improvement projects that are being added to the draft TIP. They include a project for interchange improvements at I-75 and State Route 52, a project to construct gaps in the, to correct gaps in the Pasco County's sidewalk system, a drainage improvement project on US 19 in the Hudson area, a major project to widen the Suncoast Parkway from the Hillsborough County line to north of State Route 54, and a major resurfacing project on I-75 from north of State Route 52 to the Hernando County line, a landscaping project along I-75, and a resurfacing project on US 98. Are there any questions or comments about the list of new projects?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Could you show on the map the US 19 north of Flora improvements?
Yes, sir. Is that for the drainage project?
Correct.
That should be the maintenance. Can you zoom in to the Hudson area on US 19?
This one here. I don't think you have the right slide.
Not sure I'm seeing it on here.
Taking it out or
It is the project will be from north of Flora Avenue to south of 5A Road. Can you move westward to 19, please? Look at the other map. Did you have a question about that project, sir?
I just want to make sure it's going to where I think it is, but I'm trying to even pull it. Is it Flora Street or what's the street? Flora?
It's from north of Flora Avenue to south of 5A Road along US 19.
Flora didn't even show up on Google, so. All right, I'll get with staff later on to make sure it goes up as far as, I think, if it goes up past where I think it was supposed to go is past Wildwood Park, Sun Communities Park, then great, because that does take what I want. I just want to make sure it's there, but.
You'll check with staff on that one, Chad?
Yeah, because I don't seem to see it there.
Okay, Commissioner Oakley?
Yeah, I had this one, I don't believe you mentioned, the Centennial Road, that's gonna be, that comes in within this next year, or do you know when that's coming?
Which part?
Sidewalk from 301 to Newsom Road it's the third one on the list.
Do you have a question about when it will be constructed?
Yeah, but you didn't mention when you went down the list.
Oh.
You mentioned that. So.
Okay, my apology.
Yeah, but I know it was already approved, because I saw it on some of our.
It is in the project list.
And Centennial Road is actually up for being repaved also.
Yes, Chairman?
Yes.
So on I-75 resurfacing, do you know when the last time it was resurfaced? That section of road?
I do not.
There's nothing on the west side in District 3. I'm just saying.
I'm not certain, Brian Hunter with FDOT again. I'm not certain when the last time that was resurfaced, but we typically get about 12 to 15 years of life out of our interstate roads to the surface.
So I'll ask this because I know we've done some projects together, Bruce B. Downs. We talked about doing the spray jet technology because of these, a better technology to put it down and a better bonding agent to give it a better cohesion, better bonding coefficient. And I know you guys have been studying it now for a couple of years. Is it possible we can put a request in to go consider using this? Because I know you don't want to put methods into how it gets done, but to actually use this better technology to see if could be a great test run to see how much longer you can get life out of this.
Yeah, I'll see where we are with our materials lab, where they are with testing on that, and we'll circle back with you.
I know we had to, I think it was probably 10 years ago, we did a resurfacing on US 19. Certain segments were unraveling. We did it down in Pinellas County. You guys had done it because on the turn lanes where the trucks were driving in and out, in and over, all that stuff wore away. The bonding went away. They had to go and redo those things in a thing. On a highway, it's even harder to do. So if you can get a longer life out of putting a bonding agent that's stronger, better, because they can't use it in a regular, the agent they use. When they put it down, this machine puts the asphalt down, and in one truck it kind of like sprays over to a truck that's in front of it. The spray jet comes in front of where the asphalt's gonna go, sprays it down fresh and clean. When the asphalt goes over the top of it, there's nothing touching it between it, so it can bond better with any trucks driving over it or anything else. So it's better than when they put the seams together. There's another joint of the same bonding agent to keep it together, so it's definitely a superior project.
Yeah.
I know the industry doesn't want to see it done because nobody wants to go spend the extra money on the trucks, but they
Yeah,
can
they
put it.
don't get to rebuild the roads.
Yeah, or, they spend more money,
The
so.
roads last longer.
But at this point in time, is we don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. If we could make this a project that we can be your test case again, let's go try the spray jet technology on this project, bring it all the way down, and let's see if you get a longer life, which could benefit for people from years down the road instead of having to redo it like US 19 every 10 years you're doing it. So if we can avoid that, make it a lot better, I'd like to take a look at doing that. Is there a way we can try to incorporate that into this motion to give you flexibility to take a look at it?
Yeah, I'll have to see where our materials research lab is on that study. Typically, they don't like to pilot things on the interstate since that's our most valuable transportation resource that we have. That's not where we typically will pilot things, but let me look into where we are on that approval process. I don't know what they go through. They're much smarter than I am with a lot more technical knowledge, but let me see where they are on the process of researching that particular technology, and I'll get back to you.
But I think your competency and your willingness to look at it and your good common sense, I think you'll find a good path for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions?
I did want to point out before the board votes on this, that this list of transportation improvement projects reflects an investment of over $560 million in Pasco County's transportation system over the next 5 fiscal years.
Good, thank you.
Are there any other questions about the draft project list?
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for approval with taking a look at the spray jet technology, which even if it included us to take a look at adding, us buying a spray jet technology machine, to put that as part of the process, to take a look at that as well.
Have a motion, second? Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
All right. You have the next item as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Each year, the Pasco County MPO performs a joint MPO certification process with the Florida DOT District 7 office. The purpose of this review is to ensure that the Pasco County MPO is in compliance with federal and state requirements governing the MPO's processes. And this process results in assigning a level of risk to the MPO, which guides state and federal decisions about oversight and review of MPO operations. The Florida DOT conducted the latest certification review for this MPO on February 6, 2025, and the certification identified 8 notable achievements, 4 recommended actions, and most importantly, 0 corrective actions. Based on the results of the joint MPO certification review, the Florida DOT has assigned a level of risk of low to the Pasco MPO, which is great news for us, and is recommending its certification for 2025. I do wish to point out that much of the certification review examines the MPO's financial practices, and as has been the case for the past several years, much of the credit for the good certification review results and the MPO's sound financial conditions goes to Lori Shadiger, the MPO's business compliance and contracts manager, and the hard work that she performs daily to keep the MPO's financial affairs in great order. So we do thank you for that, Lori. And this is an action item, sir.
Okay, very good. Lori, again, thank you for your hard work on that too. Any discussion on this?
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval of this item. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
sir.
Thanks again, Lori. All right. James Flaherty for Go Pasco, going to give an update. And I will say I've got to leave at about 11:20, so I'm going to hand it over if we're not finished to the Vice Chair.
And I have to leave about 11:30.
All right, good morning, I'm James Flaherty, I'm with Go Pasco. Today, our consultant is going to be presenting our transit development plan. It's a 10-year strategic vision for Go Pasco. This plan follows on the heels of our comprehensive operational analysis, which was brought to the board recently, which was our phase 1 study to support this phase 2 plan. Our consultant is a subject matter expert in TDPs, as it was hired by FDOT to update the current rule. So this will keep us in complete compliance with the new rule in FDOT TDP. With that, I bring to you Kayla Houghton with Benesh.
Thank you, James, and thank you for having me this morning. I'm Kayla Houghton with Benesh. And kind of going off of what James said, this is actually one of the first TDPs in the state of Florida that's being completed under this new rule, so very cool. I'm going to be talking to you about what a TDP is today. I'm going to be talking to you about the outreach efforts that we completed under this, the 10-year transit needs that came out of it, the priorities, what it's going to cost, and when it's going to happen. So I think some of you guys have been around to see a few TDP cycles, but for those of you that haven't, or a little refresh, it's a 10-year strategic plan, but it's also a requirement by FDOT for Go Pasco to receive state funding. So a little overview of what a TDP is, but let's talk about what a TDP is not. It is not a binding agreement, it's not a budget, it's not a capital improvement program. You are not beholden to this plan. It's a strategic vision for Go Pasco in the next 10 years. So a little bit about the outreach that we completed. We completed 10 stakeholder interviews, which 3 of your MPO board members were a part of, and it was really great feedback. We had 4 public workshops, we had 2 public input surveys, and lots of emails, and great coordination with the LRTP team. So we talked to more than 500 people throughout this whole process, a little bit more than 300 survey responses, and more than 60 people showed up to our public workshop, so we had really great feedback. When we talked to them, most of them had used Go Pasco at some point, and they were using it to go to work, socialize, or even go shopping. When we asked, what would you like to see Go Pasco look like in the next 10 years? A lot of them said, we love Go Pasco, we want more of it. They want more frequent service, they want later service, and they also would like to have some service on Sunday. And then they'd also like to have an app so they can see their next bus. So when we developed the 10-year transit needs, we took a pretty comprehensive approach. We looked at the public outreach data, we looked at census data, the LRTP projections. We also talked to the comprehensive planning department and we reviewed some of their plans. We look at land use and where the developments are going to be, which I know I don't have to tell you that that's everywhere in Pasco right now. So this is a little bit of an overview of the 10-year transit needs. We'll dive a little bit deeper in. But overall, we're proposing some new transit services, enhancements to the existing services, new service type, microtransit, as well as some infrastructure and technology to support those. So diving into the BRT, we're proposing 2 BRT routes, one on US 19 and one on 54. And we'd like to, I guess, emphasize that while this will be quick, convenient service, we are thinking that it'd also be not just your average bus service, it would be a little bit more rail-like, sleek vehicles, a little bit more enhanced, elevated overall. For the new services, we would have a new connector on 52, another east-west connection. When Moffett and Aspiros is completed, having a connection on Ridge Road to connect it over to 41. A new circulator in Zephyr Hills, and as well as a Wiregrass hopper, that's kind of what we're calling it. It would connect those 3 major shopping centers, Wiregrass, the Outlets, and the Grove. And we're also imagining that to be a cool, sleek service, not just your average bus for that one.
Could you stay on that slide for a second?
Oh, I'm so sorry, yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So I'm very excited to see this presentation. So the Ridge Road connector that you have going across, on the previous slide, it kind of shows the Hart Express you show going north-south.
Yes, correct.
Could you talk, the Suncoast Express, so tell, and with Hart connected to it, so tell me more about why that part of the slide is there, what you've looked at.
Yeah, so part of our plans review was looking at Hart's TDP, which was completed 2-3 years ago, 2022 if I'm not mistaken. And they have in their transit development plan that they have a Suncoast Express that would go up to 52. So instead of putting the onus on Go Pasco to go down to the airport, which is what this route does, when Hart implements that service, that'll connect up to 52.
All right, has anyone from the Turnpike Authority or our staff talked to you about putting a park and ride type of structure?
Yeah, so we did not speak with anybody at the Turnpike or anyone in that regard, but we do have two. It might be a little bit more difficult to see, but we have 2 park and rides along the Suncoast, one at Ridge Road and one at 52.
Okay, so I think it's probably an appropriate time, because we've talked about it with Turnpike Authority. They're very receptive to listening.
Okay.
With this board has asked for a motion to get it looked at, where we can have a park and ride looked at where the Ridge Road hits the Suncoast Parkway. There's a ton of land that's in there. Something's got to be done, but we need everybody in the room.
Mm-hmm.
We've asked for this already, and frankly, I'm a little concerned that our consultant is doing this study, wasn't brought into this, and when I see Hart on the study, it tells me that we should get a tremendous amount of cooperation to make this go. So when you're done with the presentation, I'm going to talk more to that about our next
I have
step.
to leave in 15 minutes, but,
All right.
but
Go
yeah,
ahead,
I'm
keep
glad this project is going.
Yes, yeah, I'll be quick and, you know, of course, I'll be here as long as you'd like for questions and comments. But so a new service type, microtransit, and Go Pasco will be doing a study in addition to this one to nail down those locations, but this is just kind of our first round recommendations of where they should be: Northwest Pasco, along 41, and also in Zephyr Hills. And so we have some infrastructure and technology to support those new services, 4 transfer centers, 2 of which are already in the planning phase. The park and rides that we just spoke about, there are some other ones as well on that map. Transit signal priorities and queue jumps, so those buses and services can function as they're supposed to, get through all that traffic, as well as improved bus infrastructure and marketing program to continue to reach out to the community. So when we took that to the public, their top choices were the 54 BRT, they like the Wiregrass Hopper, and extending service to 9 p.m. Now, all of these were well received when we took them to public workshops, but this is what the survey results were. And then when it was time to set our priorities for the TDP, we again took a pretty comprehensive approach. We looked at connectivity. We used an FDOT software to estimate ridership. We looked at the feasibility of it all, and again, community, what did the public say? And then so when we looked at that, the 2 BRTs were the top 2 priorities with 30-minute frequency on that Route 16, which is around the Moon Lake area. Okay, so now let's look at what this is going to cost. Balanced budget throughout the next 10 years with a little bit of additional local support, but if that doesn't materialize, then those routes would just be delayed, or we would look elsewhere for funding. And then, so when is this going to happen? The circulator will be implemented soon with the comprehensive operations analysis that James just spoke about. Support on US 41 via the connector and microtransit would be in 2027 and 2028. The BRTs in 2030 and the Wiregrass Hopper in 2032. Now, this is just our recommendation for the schedule. If any of these services would like to be expedited or they need to be delayed, there's no problem with that. Again, you're not beholden to this, as well as there's an annual update every year that Go Pasco completes. So they just tell FDOT, hey, we don't have the funds, or hey, we are super interested in this project and we're moving it up to this year. So, ready for questions, comments?
Yep. And I know we have comments. I'm going to go ahead and turn the meeting over to Scott because I do have to leave. But thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Questions or comments?
Sure.
Commissioner Moriarty.
Yeah, so I'd like to see us, if we have to add into this, like, how long is this study going on for? Is this the end of it now, or is there more coming?
This is the end. It is due to, well, FDOT is currently reviewing it, but it has to be on file by June 1st.
Okay. So after the submittal of this, I think we should look to bring this consultant back on. I think we need to get Hart in the room, Turnpike Authority, FDOT, Go Pasco, and let's go take a look at that project that would connect at the Ridge Road Connector. You might be able to get some outside funding to come in for if someone wants to put maybe a restaurant or something like in there. It's going to take a lot of coordination, but with Hart already on the table, and they're talking about doing that, it's the perfect time to join together to make a joint project.
That would be fantastic, yes.
I'm so delighted to see that part.
Oh, I'm glad, yes. It was a great plan, and overall, all the community support everyone was very positive when talking.
Hi, this is Chris. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, state your name and address for the record, please.
This is Commissioner Yeager.
Oh, hey, Commissioner Yeager.
Hi, I have a question. Is there any way to add more bike space on the buses? There's only 2 places to put bikes. So if we have people waiting for the bus and they miss that bus stop because there's not enough bike space, they're waiting another hour. So if we're trying to help the at-risk people get to work, they're going to be late. So that's the feedback I've gotten about the bus, is about the bike racks.
James Flaherty, I could speak to that a little bit. We have looked at other options. We currently have 2 bike racks per bus, so it's 1 rack, 2 bikes.
That's not enough.
It's not enough, but the problem is once we add that 3rd, which is the only other option, to the front of the bus, it starts to degrade our capability of seeing, and we get into accidents and crashes. So the depth of that 3rd bike really does mess with our operators, and it's a creates a
So can I
crash
ask you a
concern.
question? Are the buses full?
What about the back of the bus?
So there are options in
In the bus?
inside the bus
You just
for
have to-
an upright type of, because Pinellas has some of those in like the
Yes.
Sunrunner, I believe it is. So that would have to be a complete retrofit for any current buses, or we'd have to utilize it on one of our future purchases. And it's something that we could definitely look
What
into.
if you took out a couple seats in the back and you had them, you just have to have a way, because I've done this on trains, I did this, I rented a bike, I rode from Edinburgh to Glasgow, and we put our bikes on the train on the way back, and they just took out some seats, and then they have a way that you hook the bike so it doesn't fall over. So if we took out a couple seats, because I know those buses aren't full, you could secure the bikes so they're not.
We could look at an internal retrofit, but,
Yeah.
or utilizing it in the next order for.
We don't want someone who's using a bus to get to work to have to wait an extra hour.
Exactly, and that's honestly the feedback I'm getting from that population. So I would really like to see it, instead of waiting, if we can retrofit something on our buses. I've brought this up before and no one's looked into it, but I'd really like somebody to look into it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Mariano.
I would really like to dig into more about the racks too, about the capabilities. If the racks are sitting below, I have a hard time really seeing that you couldn't add 3 or 4 more bikes on it from back or front, whatever, but I think internal to the bus is a great way to go to, especially if we get the capacity. But I really would like to study this and bring us back some options at the next MPO.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on this item, item 7, Go Pasco? Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Under
you.
status reports, presentations, item 8, FY 2025-2029 tip modification for PL funds reobligation. Mr. Ferry.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
The MPO staff is modifying the amount of PL funds or planning funds in the current fiscal year 2025 through 2029 Transportation Improvement Program from $3,105,502 to $3,390,970 to reflect a reallocation of previously deobligated fiscal year 2023 through 2024 UPWP funds back into the current fiscal year 2025 through 2026 UPWP, which is what Lori shared with us earlier. So the total amount of funds that are being reallocated, again, which was shared earlier, is $285,468 and will be reallocated into fiscal year 2026 in the TIP. And I do wish to point out for the record that the amount that was shown in the packet that was, the agenda packet that was published it showed a dollar error in it due to a rounding error in Excel. So this is the corrected amount that is currently shown, which is $3,390,970. And there was also a previous error where it showed fiscal year 2025, but it's actually fiscal year 2026. Are there any questions?
Questions for Mr. Ferry? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. While I'm here at the lectern, may I follow up with Commissioner Waitman's question about the request for the speed limit reduction on that was at Chancey Road and State Route 39. Mr. Vanderberg shared that there are some visibility issues at that intersection, and there is also some new development that is occurring in the vicinity. And I believe he also cited that there was a recent crash at that intersection. So those were the reasons that were given for his request.
So what's the reduction speed?
I'm sorry, sir?
The reduction speed. What will be the new reduced speed?
He didn't make a specific request for that.
It's a fairly large four-way intersection. So, other than a subjective request, I can't support it. There's got to be more to it. I mean that.
45 there now.
Yeah, I mean that's traveled pretty solid. And people need to keep moving. So.
I can follow up with him and ask him what his specific request is. The MPO staff directed him to the county. The county maintains a portal where citizens can submit requests for traffic control issues. So I will follow up to see if he has done so and see if the county's traffic engineer has taken up that request yet.
I mean, it's a four-way lighted intersection, so if there's accidents there, that's kind of, I mean, I'm not sure what else you can do when it's a four-way lit intersection there. So, I think before we make a decision, we need some real data on that request.
He wasn't, yes, sir. He wasn't asking for any board action on it, and I believe he's going to submit the request through the county portal to the county's traffic engineer.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman? And I concur, cutting down the speed on the roadway that's going to be busy it's a big move to make. And again, it's a four-way lighted intersection. A county engineer can look at it, but I will have the same hesitancy to lower it as well.
On which road?
Chauncey.
The 39.
39 in Johnson.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Ferry on this item, item 8? Hearing none. On item 9, Zephyr Hills Multimodal Transportation Plan presentation, we have Mr. Vanderberg slated for this item. Is he going to be coming in by?
I don't believe he's in attendance, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so we'll pass this item on to a future meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to postpone item 9 to a future meeting. Item 10, other business, meetings held, scheduled items of note. Our next meeting as the MPO will be at the West Side on June the 12th, 2025, 10 a.m., first floor boardroom, West Pasco Government Center. Anything else for the good of the order?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Mariano.
I'd like to make a motion that we look to hire the same consultant that did the presentation on transit to let them look to bring a staff a contract back with us so we can actually study that Ridge Road connector going south to the airport, and then getting all the people we need in the room to kind of like really study the issue, because I think there's some big potential.
We don't have to go out to bid?
Well, that's what I said. I said bring something back to us.
Okay, I have a request from Commissioner Mariano that information be brought back for future consideration. Anything further before we adjourn the meeting? Hearing none, we'll adjourn our meeting. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Good job. Tossing it.
wildlife depend on you to keep them healthy. Excess fertilizer, grass clippings, trash, oils, and pet waste wash into gutters and storm drains when it rains. Stormwater carries these pollutants directly into our lakes and rivers, creating an unhealthy environment for fish, waterfowl, and other aquatic animals. Storm drains are meant for clean rainwater. Most other discharges are illegal. If you suspect an illicit discharge, please contact Pasco County Department of Public Works at 727-834-3611.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Hughes, Public Information Officer for Pasco County. We get a lot of questions about our recycling program, like what to do with everyday items like this little thing. Well, let me walk you through it. The same company that picks up your trash also picks up your recycling. Once those items are collected, the reusable materials go on a long journey from your home or office to Pasco County's recycling transfer facility. Everything that's recycled ends up right here in this huge pile. Our county facility accepts recycling from all over the county before we send it to a private material recovery facility in Pinellas. Then, sophisticated machines go through every bit of recycling and sort it into the right spot. From there, it's off to other facilities where it's broken down and eventually made into something new like this. In Pasco County, if you pay for curbside trash service, weekly recycling is included. Just contact your hauler for a pickup schedule or order a recycling cart. Thank you for helping make Pasco a cleaner, greener community. For more information on Pasco's recycling program, visit mypasco.net.
Hey, I'm Kevin Jenkins, Water Quality Supervisor for Pasco County. What you see behind me tends to create a lot of questions for our department. People ask all the time, why are you wasting all that water, or why is that thing still running? The answer is simple, we're not. What you see happening right here is a state-regulated process called water quality flushing. It happens every day to keep your drinking water safe. Our team is responsible for checking more than 122,000 connections all over Pasco County. As you can imagine, it's a daunting task, but it's work we do proudly and take seriously. We service both residential and commercial connections and flush water mains periodically for preventative maintenance. It helps get rid of impurities, sediment, and biologic growth. This work can be done by a team member or by an automatic flushing device known as an AFD. AFDs can flush pipes remotely. So there you have it, and now you know. That's our flushing process in a nutshell. Pasco County works hard to maintain the best water quality. This is just one way we get to that point. To learn more about this and other Pasco County utilities information, please visit our website at mypasco.net.
At any given time, 4.8 million people are being sexually exploited across the globe.
Men, women, and children of all ages, races, and ethnicities are exploited for profit.
Women and girls are disproportionately affected, accounting for 99% of the victims in the commercial sex industry.
Over 300,000 of America's youth are at risk of sexual exploitation each year.
The U.S. is one of the largest consumers of human trafficking victims worldwide. When it comes to sex trafficking, consumption means the purchase of sex.
This is a problem that we face right here in Pasco County.
When you buy sex, you are contributing to the trafficking of men, women, and children right here in Pasco County.
It comes down to supply and demand. There's simply more people trying to buy sex than there are those people willing to sell their bodies. Thus, the opportunity for human trafficking to occur.
Do you think people enjoy being bought and sold? That they want to perform sex acts with strangers?
When it comes to buying sex, we want to make sure the word is out there that Pasco doesn't buy it. Every law enforcement agency in Pasco County, including the Pasco Sheriff's Office,
the Newport Richey Police Department,
the Zephyr Hills Police Department,
the Dade City Police Department,
and the Port Richey Police Department.
We are working together to arrest and help to prosecute sex buyers.
Would you like for your spouse to find out that you're paying for sex?
Would you like your kids or their friends to find out? Or your mother?
Do you want your boss, your coworkers, or your clients to find out that you are buying sex?
How would you like to have a criminal record? Buying sex is punishable with jail time and up to a $5,000 fine.
We use state-of-the-art technology.
We have highly trained, experienced officers.
We are leveraging detailed intelligence and monitoring the online platforms that sex buyers use.
All of law enforcement is working together. If you're a sex buyer in Pasco County, we will find you.
Don't buy sex. If you do, you will be arrested.
Here in Florida, we're no stranger to rain, and Pasco County Public Works wants to show you how we're working to improve drainage along your roads. Our crews work hard to keep your roads in great shape, and you'll notice after a heavy rain, we often see ponding or standing water on the road that doesn't easily drain away. Ponding can be a problem for a couple reasons. Most importantly, it can be a safety issue because when you drive through standing water, you can start to hydroplane and lose control. So why does ponding happen? In most cases, it's because the shoulder doesn't slope away from the road, so the water doesn't have anywhere else to go. Pasco crews are always on the lookout for these problem areas and have a relatively easy way to fix them. Most Pasco roads that have water ponding problems have a sod curb, where the grass grows right up next to the road. Our crews use this machine, called a grater, to shave off about 3 feet of sod running along the road. This creates a slope, allowing water to run away from the road. Our crews also use a loader to scoop debris and a sweeper to clean the worksite. Then finishing touches are added, like new sod or stone to prevent the fresh soil from washing away. And just like that, ponding is gone and your roads are protected. This easy, cost-effective fix doesn't alter the rights of way or affect your property in any way. Thanks for watching, and please visit mypasco.net to learn more about how Pasco is working for you.
Hi, I'm Hans with Pasco County Public Works. You'd be surprised with what ends up in our stormwater inlets. Besides the occasional gator, we find mattresses, bicycles, even shoes. How does it all get here? More on that later. First, it's time to clean up and clear out. Over time, stormwater inlets get clogged with sand, leaves, and grass clippings. Natural things, but also cans, plastic bottles, and other trash. Our team clears all that debris so stormwater can drain properly. To better see what we're dealing with, our stormwater asset management team has a special camera on wheels. The camera goes where we can, checking stormwater pipes for anything that might block the water flow. The camera also helps us check the condition of the stormwater pipes to see if repairs are needed. And that's important because Pasco has more than 347 miles of stormwater pipes and more than 17,000 stormwater inlets. Once we analyze the video, the operation team shows up to blast water into the stormwater pipes and vacuum up any debris. Then we truck it all away. With clean stormwater pipes, cleaner water is now flowing into our ponds, rivers, and lakes, and some of that water eventually flows into the Gulf of Mexico. Clean stormwater inlets also prevent flooding, which means safer properties and less damage for everyone. So now you can see why dumping anything into a stormwater inlet or altering a